Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You are watching Love Thyself with Ebony Marie. I'm your host, Ebony Marie. Thank you so much for joining me on today. This is the first live episode that I've done. So let me just go ahead and give a breakdown as to who I am and what is Love Thyself. So, Love Thyself started like 6 years ago. I had a podcast. It was actually on an online radio station called Bear K Radio. Shout out to Benny Randall. Who was running that station? I was on there for a couple of years and then pulled back for a few years. And now I am coming back and rebooting Love Thyself on YouTube. So this is definitely a new adventure for me. Um, I didn't see myself doing YouTube videos, but the Lord saw fit to have me do this. So just a little background. First and foremost, I am a believer in the Lord Jesus Christ. So my life story is a testament to His goodness, His glory, and His grace. I started doing this show to document my journey, but also to help encourage others in their life journey. One of the things that I had learned in my studies is that we love people the way we love ourselves, and we don't always love ourselves to the full capacity that we should. Um, the Bible tells us to love our neighbors as we love ourselves. And when we look at our relationships, sometimes we are treating treating people and ourselves less than what we should. And as I was doing my life's journey, I asked God. I said, "Why? Why are we like this?" And I prayed and asked Him, like, to help me love others the way that He loves me. And when I made that prayer, what ended up happening is that God began to show me who I was and show me that I really didn't wholly love myself. There were things about me that I loved. There were things about me that I'm like, that's okay. And then there were things about me that I really didn't like, and I didn't address it. I just covered it all up and tried to parade around as if nothing was wrong. And in that, it caused me to treat myself and others not so lovingly. um, and so in my life's journey, I started to learn who I was, what made me tick. What were those triggers that caused me to not really love who I was? Why did I not like my quirks? We all have our own little quirks, things that make us, different from others. And unfortunately, when we're different, people in the world can cause us to feel insufficient, or to be a little conscious about those things that are just different. And there's nothing wrong with our differences. That's what makes us unique. And so I realized a lot of my life was me trying to fit in, and me trying to be accepted, me trying to be a part of the in crowd, and me trying to be someone I am not. And it was hard for me to really grab a hold of that, because when I did, I realized I didn't know who I was. And if I didn't know who I was, how could I love me? Because I don't I don't know who I am. And so it took me on a journey of undoing some of the things that were just naturally culturally done because of where I grew up. There were things that I did just because that was the norm for where I was from. And, that was the norm for my family. But just because that was the norm doesn't mean it was right and doesn't mean that I liked it. So I had to undo those things and really look at it as like, is this something that is healthy? Is this something that is strengthening me? Is this something that is helping me grow spiritually? Is it something helping me to get closer to the Lord? And a lot of it wasn't. There were some things that it didn't, it wasn't bad or and it wasn't good, but it really didn't help me in my journey. And so I had to learn to let those things go. And as I did, I began to really learn who I am. But one of the biggest things that I've come to understand is that learning to love yourself is a never ending lesson, because as we continue to be blessed to live on this earth, there are so many things that we encounter that can impact us, that can cause us to have to shift in the way that we think, shift in the way that we move, that we end up becoming more becoming more of a person that, we never thought we would be. And so then it's a never ending battle of, not even a battle, but a never ending journey of us learning to really love who we are. And one of the biggest things that I had to learn was to learn how to love who I am in this moment and let go of who I was. And loving who I am in the moment, I didn't always like that. It wasn't nice. It wasn't pretty. There's so many things that it was like I don't like who I am right now, but it doesn't require for me to like me in order for me to love me. Like and love are two separate things, and that's something else that I learned. And in learning who I was, and I'm still learning who I am, being a I'm 40 years old, and I can tell you today that I am definitely not the same person that I was when I was 20 or when I was 30. It is a lot more to me now that I didn't even expect expect would happen. So it's always learning to love who you are in the moment where you're at now, accepting where you are in this moment. That doesn't necessarily mean just because you accept who you are right now, that doesn't mean that that's where you'll stay, but it's actually just learning to see who you are, accept who you are, and love yourself to your next. And as I learned these things, one of the things that I started to understand is that us as women are so hard on ourselves, especially with what the world presents to us, what the world expects from us, that we get caught up in trying to be what everyone else tells us to be. And so when I was presented with the opportunity to do the podcast some years ago, um, I was hesitant, but I kept hearing that voice saying, do it. And it was because it was a conversation that was really necessary. And so, on this journey of learning to love yourself, I will bring on guests that will come in. We'll have conversations. We'll, share our testimonies as we have learned and grown through, different trials and tribulations in life. And what does loving yourself look like when you're single? What does loving yourself look like when you're in transition? What does loving yourself look like when you're faced with something that you never expected that you would face? What are some key life lessons that we could take that will help us in our day-to-day journeys? And so I do love thyself because I want to have those conversations. You never know what can come out. I have some great people lined up to join me, and I'm excited to see, what God brings and, what people have to share. in these conversations that I have some of my really good friends. I have people that I've never met before, um, and it started really great relationships. So I'm excited to take this journey with you. And so I'm going to encourage you to like, share, subscribe. So when the new episodes come out, you're not going to miss any, because I promise you, you will be blessed in this journey. So this is not just my journey, this is our journey. And I invite you to reach out to me if you have questions, or if there's a topic that you would like for me to discuss. Like, I'm down. Like, reach out to me. You can email me at info@ebonemarie.com. You could send me a message. You could follow me on Instagram at the Ebony Marie and send me a direct message. I'm open for that, because I really want this to be our journey, not just mine. But I'm excited because in the past, when I have done this podcast, there were things that God pulled out that I'm like, I was not expecting that. There were, like, in the moment testimonies, like life situations that I was going through in that moment, that God's like, share this. And I I shared it. It was a little easier because, again, it was just audio, but I have no problem with sharing, what God has for me to share. And so I'm excited. I don't know if you guys could tell, but I'm excited. I'm excited to see where this journey leads us, and what is all set up to be. I know in the past, I've had people say that the podcast has helped them in their relationships, in their marriages, in their life, just in general, helping them to really get a different perspective on life situations. And that's all my heart is. If it's just reaching just one person, then my job is done. So it is what it is. Like, I'm not worried about reaching, I don't have to have 1,000 subscribers for me to do this. I can have one, two, three, and I will continue to do this as long as the Lord gives it to me. So I'm excited. And it's today, today I do want to share a little more about what's going on with me right now. As I was supposed to start this podcast back in, I think, November of 2023. And um I as you see, it is now 2024, and it is July 2024. And these past few months, I can actually say, have been a bit difficult for me. um Not because somebody did anything, but because I allowed myself to feel defeated and be discouraged. That is one of the hardest things ever in life, is to be in a place where you are doing the things, and I'm doing, you do all the stuff, you say all the right words, you're in all the right places, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, but yet you still don't see the fulfillment of things in your life. So like I said, I'm 40. Um, and when I turned 40 in December of 2023. And I could say that that is probably around the time that it really hit me big. I My 40th birthday was awesome. Me and one of my good friends, one of my best friends, we went to Cabo and hung out there for a week and enjoyed the ocean, and just, it was refreshing. But there were still some things in my life that were not fulfilled, that I'm still waiting on. And so I guess you could say that I allow myself to become discouraged, because this side of my life is going well, and this side of my life is going okay. It could be better, but there's still this piece here that I'm missing. And so I got into um a time of discouragement. And There may be some people that were around me that wouldn't even know or have guessed that I was in a moment of discouragement, because I was still doing all the things. I was going to church. I was leading the dance ministry. I still lead the dance ministry. Doing Bible studies, and teaching, and doing all the things that I always do. But on the inside, I was feeling like, why am I doing this? And I'm not seeing the fulfillment of the promises. And I'm having trouble over here. Like, this area of my life is not moving. And so I was in a place of discouragement, and I'm coming out. So don't worry, I'm coming out. But it was hard for me to even realize where I was at. I had got so caught up in doing the things that I didn't realize that I was doing the things and not, I was missing something. Until one day it kind of just hit me, and I was just sitting back, and I'm like, there's something wrong. I'm missing something. What is going on in my life? Like, I feel like there's something missing. And I realized that I was feeling discouraged in all that I was doing, and not seeing the fulfillment of promises. So, like my family, or, things on my job, they're cool. Like, I have a job, but at the same time, it's like, I'm not progressing like I had in the past. And so I'm, pressing into God. I'm like, God, I need you. I need to hear from you. Something's not right. And he said, I need you to come up a little higher. You're doing all the things, and that's great. However, you're doing the same thing and expecting a different outcome. And I need you to come higher, and I need you to do some things a little different. And so, in that, I had to really look at why I was hesitating to even record and do the show, because it's not hard for me to record the show. It's not hard for me to sit in front of the camera and share, because I do Bible study, so I'm on the camera with my church when I do Bible study. So I'm like, Lord, why was it so hard? And I had allowed myself to get to a place where I felt like, if I do this, what? I've lost my reasons. I lost my purpose in doing this. And again, like I said earlier, I'm gonna do this whether it's one person or two people or 1,000. I just need that one person to be reached and be encouraged, and um, be encouraged by my testimony, and that's worth it. And I realized I lost that in the midst of, doing the things, and getting and more focused on, the fulfillment of promises coming to me, that I lost the focus on what God really called for me to do. God has called me to come and speak to the hearts of his children. God called me to be an encourager. And I got so far away from that and just doing the things, that I miss the importance of just sitting down and having the conversations. And so now I have, I prayed, I've repented, and I've, cry out to God, like, God, I'm sorry, but I'm here. And so again, I'm excited for this journey. I'm glad you are here. Come and join me. Let's go on this journey together. Again, if you have topics or questions, anything that you want to discuss, just reach out to me. Let's do this together. And let's just see what God does. And because, this is his show. I'm just here. Um, just to be a voice. Again, Love Thyself with Ebony Marie. I'm here to go through this journey called life, and continuing to learn to love myself in every area of my life and every season. We know that as seasons change, things can become very difficult. But when we learn to love ourselves, we learn to love others, and we learn to give ourselves and others the grace that is necessary for us to help build each other and encourage each other as we continue in this thing called life. So I'm excited. I will talk to you guys soon. Be blessed. Until next time. Mwah.